All right, you guys, what's going on? We're back with Lorenzo's insane Mini. Hopefully you guys remember this car. If you don't, well then this video might be a good lesson for you on, one of the fastest Minis, one of the most insane front wheel drive, one of the most insane turbo cars, period, I've ever been in. We're just gonna go for a quick rip. Lorenzo's always putting in work on this car and kind of pushing the boundaries of engineering, efficiency, power to really perfect this platform. So he's been tweaking a few things recently that I think you guys might find a little bit outstanding, shall we say. So we're gonna go for a drive. We're just filling up on the 85 real quick here. And I'm getting like a little bit shaky already. This car is incredibly scary, incredibly frightening. And even Lorenzo thinks so. So let's go talk to him, see what we can do. The flywheel sound on startup.
Yeah, like my buddy Chris says, the samurai's word.
Yeah, it sounds like an RB.
It is a Japanese clutch.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, there you go then. Wow.
Japanese make nice stuff.
They make nice everything.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys, right here in front of me, I have the current dyno graph for the car we're sitting in.
Yeah, and you have it overlaid over the motor that cracked the sleeves, right?
Right, yes.
So you can see how much more efficient from changing compression ratio.
Is this the same turbo?
Exactly same everything. Same head, same turbo.
Wow, okay.
Same ECU, same everything. Just the bottom end.
So you guys see here, prior 3,000 RPM to 4,000 RPM torque ramp up, and that's actually, so this is what's insane. There's more torque, but you see it ramps up actually sooner than before, which is kind of ridiculous. And then of course the power follows that torque, and then the power keeps on pulling right to the top there, and you can see it actually expands further and the gap gets wider as you go up in power, or as you go up in revs, which is ridiculous. And then we see here this, so this top flat part of the power band, Lorenzo, that's the turbo limitations.
Yeah, it's just maxed out.
Yeah.
Yeah, like not flowing anymore.
Mm-hmm.
That's why there's a bigger turbo in line to go in.
So what are we at? We're at, what is this, 520
wheel?
520. 520 wheel horsepower.
Yep.
1.6 liter front wheel drive mini engine.
Why not?
Why not? I love it. The word Lorenzo used earlier was disgusting.
Yeah. The biggest experience is just the way it responses and the way the power comes in. Like that was the hardest part to achieve building these cars, because in stock these cars, why they're fun, because they're just so snappy, so responsive. You get in it, it just responds.
Yeah. So
everyone seem to think that if you go bigger turbo, it'll just make the car laggy and boring, and which is true. It's possible.
Yes,
but
of course.
If you do the work right,
if you do the due diligence,
that's the proof right there.
Wow, 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 wow. And this is of course tuned by Sean over at Racing Greed, who I haven't seen in a number of years, but maybe in the future we can do a dyno video.
Yeah, we tuned it together. Sean did help me a lot. I spent a lot of hours tuning this car, and sometimes you hit like a tunnel vision.
Right.
So you like need someone to overlook things or like pull you out of the, oh no. The help plays a huge role.
Yeah, shift your perspective
Absolutely,
a little bit.
Yeah.
And of course you, with the Fueltech, are you doing kind of boost by gear stuff? Like how much can you do in-house without a dyno, just on the road with your logs and everything?
I pretty much can do everything, but without dyno, you cannot have like a smooth fueling table. So you need to use the dyno. Where Sean helped is like I can tune it on the street, but I cannot have a proper control of the load. So you need to use the dyno to lock it up at different speeds, and it's a lot of time to You see how we drive it? How smooth it is? Like
it is.
If you don't know, you won't know this car is doing 520 wheel, right?
No, not at all. Not at all.
This is the result of a proper tuning and proper refinement. Here, I'll give you a third gear
roll on here.
Yeah, it's fighting. So that was with traction assist. Remember when I told you?
Yes. So this from the factory, basically, this didn't come with a proper LSD. It came with effectively brake-based.
Correct.
Like torque vectoring, just trying to rein in the torque.
Yeah.
So you have to shut that off. And the brakes too. Now that you've rebuilt the engine, you're saying there's even more potential.
Right. So how did I damage the
Right, yes.
the first motor? Why that motor in open deck form survives, I would say, 3 years.
Yeah.
Technically, the factory ECU was doing some glitches under load when it was exceeding the, for example, when you run E85, makes the power band very wide. So the ECU has to calculate load very accurate from way down low when it hits like a peak torque at like 3,700 RPM.
Yeah.
Then the load would kind of have to be calculated all the way to 8,000 RPM. When it was passing 6,200 RPM, it would start to fluctuate.
And this car revs to 8 now.
Right.
Wow. Man.
What blows my mind is after I blew it off, I figured the DME problem, like why it was doing the error. So we fixed that. So it was like a late evening. I did not want to wait. You excited? I'm like, oh my god, it looks like it's working.
Mm-hmm.
So you like pick up a cold night and go drive somewhere on the back roads. And I'm like, let me try to do a third gear pull.
Mm-hmm.
And I keep ramping the boost up, and I'm like, wow, the ECU is not interfering anymore. So I've been having too much fun, and how to say, Dynobot is not the actual dyno. Does it feel fast? Nah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Feels all right.
Yeah, different day, different circumstances.
Right. So I cranked the pressure to like 27 pounds, and boom, like I got like a steam of coolant coming up. I'm like, that's very interesting. And meanwhile, I was doing like draggy runs. I popped the hood. I'm like, it looks fine. A little bit of steam. I'm like, maybe the cap is loose. Tighten the cap, like nothing. So I backed the power down to like 25 and left it alone. So second day, I pulled it in the shop, did a leak down test. So cylinder 1 and 4, it's like 35% leak. And I'm like, okay, so we broke something. Car was left on the same tune. I figured out what needs to be done. I investigated how I want to do my own closed deck with my OCD attention to detail. So I designed it myself following cylinder head surface with OEM gasket, matching every little detail to have like perfect cooling distribution and cooling flow around every cylinder, like with the same volume. To me, it's like a lot of car guys, they think, oh, OEM stuff is not good, let's do this, let's do that.
Stupid.
I have a different approach because I work as a technician, like that's my profession, right? Mm-hmm. And I have like, I don't know how many thousands of hours on the bench, and
you're well past your 10,000 hours.
Oh boy, I think 100 hours, 100,000 hours.
Yeah.
So to me, it's like if you don't truly find a limit to an OEM component, don't try to replace it with an aftermarket. If we talk for engine internals, that's different. But when we talk like seals, structural integrity of a block, this and that, fix the block, got it broken in, put it on the dyno, so it was left with the exact same tune that was when you drove the car.
Right.
Yeah, so when we drove together, when I told you that I have no idea what it's making, so it was exactly on the tune that it cracked the block. So I put it on the dyno, 385 foot-pounds of torque.
Wow.
And 475 wheel horsepower.
Wow.
That's very impressive that an open deck block bored over 0.5 held this much pressure. So I changed the pistons and I changed the rod only for the weight.
Yes.
And the fact that I was so inclined to use E85, I decided to bump the compression ratio a bit higher.
What compression ratio are we at right now?
So right now it's a 10.5 to 1. I would not recommend it for pump gas.
That's high for a turbo.
Right.
Wow.
If you don't plan to run E85, just don't put 10.5 to 1. Yeah. The whole Fueltech setup was very challenging because there is no firmware that gives you, okay, this feature, that feature, that feature. So when you put together a project like this, you kind of have to already have some background into an application to know what you want to do, how you want to do it. It took me probably like 6 months just to put the setup on paper. You know, like overthinking this feature, that feature, then you get your connectors, your wires, you start making it, you're routing it. So it was like a 1 year easy project.
Wow.
It's fully synchronized with OEM sensors. So for example, if to turn off the direct injection system, this car will run only on port injection because it's using the actual OEM sensors.
Oh wow, that's actually insane.
Correct, yeah.
I don't think I knew that about your system before.
Yeah,
so
and
you
it's
can
full
effectively
sequential too.
Right.
It knows the right cylinder, and you can adjust the injection angle, all the good stuff. So this is why the drive quality is so good, because the tuning is so refined. So to be able to calibrate all this, it was an absolute nightmare.
I believe it.
The nice part with this is just like I can switch maps on the fly. So I have like valet mode, see?
93
shell and E65. Where it wants to take off is like where do I use it, right?
No, and we were talking earlier, the only metric that's relevant for this car is the 100 to 200 kilometer pull.
Correct, yeah.
Really? I mean, because you have enough time in that to actually get a good grasp on what the car's actually doing. I mean, you could hit 600 wheel horsepower, different turbo.
Yeah, just by filling up the rest of the power band.
I mean, Draggy is a good resource to see this, but do you think this car we're sitting in today could potentially be, oh, there's your Draggy, could be the quickest R56 Mini in the world? Or most powerful R56 Mini in the world?
On stock ECU, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's so crazy.
Not that, how to say, doing this to flex with it, but
no, that's not what you're doing. But when you have the ability to flex,
it's like, why not? You know?
I mean,
why not?
People love it though. The people that are gonna hate on it are gonna hate on it. The people that understand, and you've taught me so much about like just engineering and safety and how you can build things to be powerful but also like reliable.
Yeah, so you can have fun, you can drive it as long as you don't do stupid things to get in troubles. It is a supercar experience in a Mini.